Okay, so the first movie that I watched was Dune 2. And the person that directed this movie was, his name was Dennis Villeneuve. I don't know what other movies he directed as well. I'm pretty sure he directed the first one. Um, the movie was mainly about, it was a sequel to the first Dune movie. It's about a man named Paul Atreides. He unites with Chani and the Freeman. Um, he's basically seeking revenge on the people that killed his family, and he's trying to like, he's facing the choice between the love of his life, and fighting the people who basically killed his family, and he must prevent like a terrible future that's gonna happen in the future that only he can foresee. And this movie was released March 1st, 2024. And the theater that I watched it at was Logan Theater. I went with a couple of friends to watch this movie. We had all drove there, and I had asked them at first if they wanted to go. At first, they had told me no, but then I had asked them a couple more times if they really wanted to go, and they finally like said that they wanted to go, just like to see what the movie theater would be like. And that was pretty good, pretty nice of them to do that. And the audience that was there in the movie theater, really wasn't that many other people there to watch the movie with us. It was just kind of us four in the movie theater as well. So, but I also kind of like that anyway, like when it's just us in a movie theater, not like a lot more people. Um, the kind of vibe that I got from the movie theater was like an old school kind of vibe, more like traditional. The seats were like very low to the ground, and you couldn't really, in like other movie theaters, you couldn't really, you could walk up to your seats and like go up to your seats like and pick your seats, but in this movie theater they were like low to the ground. You could pick like whatever seat you want. Um, yeah, and what was it like watching this movie in a movie theater like this? I could say that it was kind of fun actually. I was like very excited to go watch it because like when I had looked up where we were going to Logan Theater, I wasn't really expecting the movie theater to look like that. So once we got there, it was like I was like, yeah, let's do this. It was kind of fun to do this. So yeah. What stood out to me in the movie was that it was kind of like a more adventurous movie to watch, and it was like more adventurous movie because the places that they went to, it was mainly like in a desert part area, like throughout the whole movie, and it was like a lot of open spaces too, and it just seemed like really cool, like just where the characters end up at, and seeing them take the adventure like throughout the whole movie. It was kind of cool to watch. I really I really like this movie, and I haven't watched the first one yet, so I need to watch the first one first so I can really know like what this movie was kind of about too. But and just so like I can like kind of like debate between the two, which one was better, which one was not. And I can recommend this movie to anybody who wants to go watch it, just because it's a really adventurous movie, and if you're like a really adventurous person, if you like sci-fi movies, then I feel like this would be the movie for you. And it just kind of gives off that adventurous vibe, just to see like where the characters go in the movie, and just see where they end up. One thing I can take from this movie and connect it to the class is that the wide shots that it has, and the different camera angles, just like close-ups, I can say. And a close-up, it like conveys an image of like emotion and like sparingly, because they'll be much more impactful like when they come around, and they can also be inserted roughly for a greater impact. and I can say that a wide shot, when a wide shot is taken, it's like kind of taken like to see like basically like what's around everybody at that point in time, and it kind of like conveys a theme for the main plot. I can say that was a wide shot, and a prop that I can take from this movie is the clothing that they wore throughout the whole movie. Just because like the type of clothes that you wear in the desert is like kind of what they had on. They were like kind of like big and like baggy clothes mainly. Most people were wearing baggy clothes. Um, I feel like that's like it looked really cool on them to see like the characters have those type of clothes on, and it kind of like most of the characters' clothes it kind of show like who they were at first and like what was going to happen throughout the whole movie. So I feel like and I also like clothing too. So like I feel like that's like kind of a part of me. So I feel like that would be a very cool item that I would pick from the movie. Okay, so the next movie that I watched was Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire, and the director, his name is Adam Wingard, and what the movie was about is basically a sequel to the first Godzilla and Kong movie was, and it was called Godzilla versus Kong, and this movie is called Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire, and it's basically about Godzilla and Kong teaming up to face like a bigger threat, like against their own kind, and it's facing like it's challenging the existence of like the human race basically, and like they're fighting for survival at this point. And the same movie, I watched this movie at the same theater, Logan Theater, but this time I went by myself to watch it because um, nobody else would really want to go and watch an action movie with me, I guess. And that's okay because I just got in an Uber and that's how I got there. And the audience was pretty big at first for this one. It was bigger than the first one, I can say, um, just because action movies are like. I feel like more people would go and watch an action movie before they would go and watch a sci-fi movie. Um, just because like action movies are like the main attraction nowadays, I can say. And about the movie theater, the vibe that it kind of gave off, it was like the same thing as a last one, very old school and very traditional. Seats were to the ground. Really wasn't that big of a movie theater. Kind of small, I can say. Um, but like that's really like what makes it that movie theater is kind of gives like a old school vibe. And what I can say is that this movie made me feel like very excited. I can say just because I've been waiting for this movie for a long time after the first one came out, and I was just like ready to make the drive and go watch the movie, and just say like some things that also kind of stood out to me in the movie was just like the fighting scenes between Godzilla and Kong, and like who they were fighting, and like what the other characters were doing in the movie. That's like what kind of like stood out to me, I can say. I feel like just because it's like mainly what the movie is all about, like the big titans fighting each other and like going at it against each other. That's like really what makes the movie, and like that's what really like makes it good at the end of the day, I can say. And I also like really like this movie just because I'm really, like I said, I'm really into action movies, and I can like I can really say like I can recommend this movie to like a lot more people as well. If you're into action movies, if you're not, then it's fine. I also feel like that it's like very different from other action movies. Just like for example, Marvel movies. I feel like Godzilla and Kong, this like is very different than a Marvel movie. It's like just like really big, ginormous animals just fighting each other and like fighting other big entities as well. That's what really makes it like different from Marvel movies, I can say. Um, One thing I can take away from this and like connected to the class is just like is the movie posters. The movie poster that was displayed outside the movie theater, like when you were walking into the movie theater. I feel like a movie poster is based on, it really like shows the genre of the movie, and it's really based off the genre of the movie, and the genre was mainly action. It was mainly action, and you can tell like by the movie poster, it like really displayed like the theme and the genre of it, the action movie. So, and I feel like a prop that I would have from this movie is say I would say that the weapon that Kong used throughout the movie, just because it seemed like a really cool weapon because mostly in the older movies, Kong he didn't really use like weapons to use. He mainly like used his hands and his feet to for his weapons basically, and it was kind of cool to watch him use like other things as weapons, and I feel like that would be like really cool to use and just really nice to have. I say. Okay, so the last movie that I watched. Okay, so the last movie that I watched was Good Burger 2, and the person that directed this movie, his name was Phil Trail, and the movie is basically a sequel to the first Good Burger movie, that was directed in 1997. It's about Dexter, Reed, and the cashier Ed. They're reuniting to continue working at the fast food restaurant Good Burger with it's like a different hilarious new group of characters that were like introduced. And where I was when I watched this movie, I was in my room, and there really wasn't anything in my surroundings, just my TV. And I watched this movie on Prime Video, streamed it on Prime Video, and the screen was pretty large for it to watch on. I didn't watch this movie with anyone. I watched it by myself, and some things that I did while I was watching it, I was doing my homework while I was watching it, and that's mainly what I do all the time. I sometimes just do my homework in the background, like while I'm playing a movie in the background. I do my homework sometimes, and I feel like this movie made me feel like how I felt about the first Good Burger movie. It just made me kind of anxious to watch it, and just because the first Good Burger movie, it was like very interesting and like very very funny, as the second one was. I feel like the first one is very much funny than the second one, just because it's like much older. It's like a much older day going into it. One thing that stood out to me was like the newer characters that they had in the movie. They didn't have like the same characters from back in the first movie. It was like a lot more different characters than they had. So like that was really good and like very different from them to do that. Um, and they kind of changed the plot a little bit with the newer characters. Um, but overall, I can say I like this movie a lot. But I feel like I like the first one better than this one, just because the first one is just like original classic, and I can recommend this movie to anybody just because like if you're like a really big Kenan Thompson fan, then this would be a perfect movie for you to watch. And also one way I can relate this back to the class is that it had a lot of Dutch angles in this movie. And a Dutch angle is when the camera is being tilted, and it helps like build a confused and but also an intense emotion based on the movie itself. And it is displayed. It's also a Dutch angle is also displayed in the movie "Do the Right Thing" by Spike Lee. And a prop that I would take from this movie is obviously a Good Burger, because ever since I watched the first Good Burger movie, was like wondering how would a Good Burger taste in real life. So just like I've always like wanted to taste a Good Burger like in real life. So that's probably the one prop that I would take from this movie is a Good Burger. One thing that I can say that I liked about film studies class was the different movies that we were able to watch. Just because it gave me like a really good and different and perspective on how movies were made back in the day, and how movies like are made now. It's like very different, and it gave me like a better sense of like what to expect when like going to watch a movie or watching them like on a streaming device, basically. Um, and I feel like it was like also the different angles that were showed and the different ways of shooting a movie. Like for instance, like on an iPhone camera, for example, I feel like that's a really different way to make a movie. One thing that I can say that I learned that surprised me was the first movie that we did an assignment on, and I feel like we had what we had to do was had to make different sound effects into it, and I feel like at first I didn't know like how that was gonna turn out. I feel like it was gonna like turn out like kind of bad as a sense, but like once we actually did it, then I felt like pretty good about like what we had accomplished with the first movie when we used different like pencils, notepads. Some people use balloons for their projects. Every different thing, every object was like very good to use for the sound effects for using for the two movies that we had to do. And honestly, I can say that I would make no changes to the class, just because like that's mainly what film studies is about. It's about learning different ways to watch movies, and just to expect like what's going to happen in a movie, and just like the overall knowing what's going into it, and like knowing how to work and to make a movie. I feel like going through that learning process was like really fun. It was very interesting for me, and I just can say like it's like really helped me like learn like what it comes to like when making a movie. I feel like that was like really good, and I can say like I really like the class a lot, just because getting to learn everybody and like learning like everybody's different backgrounds and like different ways that they watch movies, and different movies that they also like too, and it was just like really good to learn everybody's like different aspects and different perspectives on it. So yeah, I really like film studies a lot. Okay, thank you to everyone who tuned in to watch this video. Thank you for watching all the movies that I talked about. I really hope they really gave you a better understanding of what to go into watching different other movies. And yeah, thank you for your time, and also just have a great day.